All right. So so far we had discussed about the construction, working, and the characteristics of JFETs, MOSFETs. Okay. In the MOSFETs, we had discussed about depletion type MOSFETs and also enhancement type MOSFETs. Okay. So moving forward, the next topic of this chapter is FET biasing. Okay, the way we are going to bias an FET. In your basic electronics, you may have studied about the biasing of bipolar junction transistors. Okay, so I assume that you remember these things, but anyhow, okay, so we'll be discussing about the biasing of field effect transistors in a lot more detail in this particular course. Okay, fine. Okay, so whenever we say biasing, right? So whenever the term biasing comes, it means applying external voltage, applying a voltage. Okay, uh, biasing are of two types. The first one is DC biasing, and the second one is AC biasing. Okay, so DC biasing, the study of it is called as DC analysis, and if the signal is biased with respect to AC, then we call it as AC analysis. Okay, before we try to understand about AC analysis, it would be better for us to understand about the DC biasing as well as DC analysis first. Okay, so let's try to put a very simplistic picture of the need for biasing with respect to the transistors. Okay, so let me just consider a transistor. It could be a BJT, it could be a JFET, or it could be MOSFETs also. Okay, so let me just write it as transistor. Right now, a transistor is an active device. All of us know about it. To a transistor, okay, there may be, a transistor will always be present within a circuit. Okay, a network. A network usually comprises of resistors, there may be capacitors and also other components. Okay, so let me write it as a network or a circuit. Now each and every network, it has to be switched on. Okay, right. The devices which are present within the network, they should be switched on, right? So for that we need a power supply or a power port. We usually need a power port, okay, so that it can switch on and switch off the particular devices which are present within the network. And usually there will be a input signal. The input could be fixed or it could be a varying signal. Usually the input is a varying sinusoidal signal. Okay. So let us just call it as input Vi. Okay. Now this particular input signal will be usually fed to a particular network, and the transistor, which is normally used as an amplifier, will generally amplify the particular input signal and then give us an amplified version of the output signal. Okay. So let us call V naught as the output voltage. Output voltage. Okay, fine. Now the point is, there are two voltages being applied here. One is the voltage which is being applied at the power port. This power port voltage ensures that the active devices which are present within the network are switched on. Okay, they get powered, they get energized. Okay, so that is one aspect. We usually call it as, okay, it is used to power up the devices, whereas the input signal is the one which we want to amplify it further so that it appears across the output signal. Okay. Now there are two very important aspects here. First one is to find out the behavior of the device. Okay, here the active device is the transistor. Okay, so there are two very important aspects. One is how does the device behave. Okay, device behavior, or you can also call it as device characteristics. Okay, we have already seen how the output and the transfer characteristics of a JFET device or a MOSFET looks like. Further, we also need solution for the network, solution of the network. Okay, when we obtain these two things, using these two parameters, we get a very important parameter called as Q point. Okay, which is called as the operating point. The operating point. So to determine the operating point, we may not need the input signal, we may not need the output signal. Okay, at the first, what we require, the parameter which is the most important is the voltage which we apply at the power port. Okay, so that the devices get switched on, and then we will be getting the device behavior and also the solution of the network, using which we obtain the most important parameter, which is the Q point. Okay. So for that, the steady and the steps which we use or employ, they are called as DC analysis. Okay. Normally for the power port, we apply a DC signal. Okay. Usually we apply a DC signal. Okay. It's not always true, we can also apply a sinusoidal varying signal also, but normally to the power port a DC signal is applied. Okay. And suppose if the signal varies with respect to time, then we usually call it as AC analysis. Okay. For the AC analysis, usually we consider the the voltage applied at the power port and also the input as well as the output voltage. Okay. But for DC biasing, it is this core shaded region which is the most important, along with the voltage applied at the power port. Okay. So students must understand this aspect. Okay. Moving next, right. What are the various FET biasing configurations that are available, especially with respect to DC biasing? So I will be writing it as DC analysis. So henceforth, whenever I say analysis, I mean it is DC analysis. Once we are done with the DC analysis, we will be moving forward and then go with the AC analysis aspects. Okay, fine. So the first configuration that we are going to study in FET biasing will be fixed bias. That's the most simplest one. Next will be self bias, which is a slightly improvised biasing configuration when compared to a fixed bias. Okay. Next comes the most important one, which is voltage divider bias. Okay. Whenever you when you are studying about the biasing configurations with respect to a BJT, then you may have come across this type of a biasing circuit, fixed bias, voltage divider bias and all, right. So the procedure is the same, the only difference is that we are using a JFET instead of a BJT here. Okay. All right. So a voltage divider bias is a much better configuration, when compared to the previous two configurations, that are fixed bias and the self bias one. Okay. All right. Apart from these three configurations, there are many more configurations. However, for your syllabus, we will be focusing only on these three configurations. Okay, fine. All right. So starting with the fixed bias configuration, let us try to understand how it actually looks like. fixed bias configuration. Alright, so I will be using N channel JFET. Okay, so this is how N channel JFET looks like. The three terminals of the JFET are the first one being the gate, drain and the source. Okay, so a JFET is an active device. To this particular JFET, let us try to add some network to it, okay, as per the fixed bias configuration. So that is the resistor at the drain, which is called RD, and we are applying the power port at this particular point. So let us call it as VDD. It is the voltage being applied at the drain end. Now nearer the gray gate, let me just add a resistor which is called RG. So RG is the gate resistance. The applied polarity is of such type, and initially let the source be grounded. Okay. So that's the coupling capacitor C1 at the input side. Vi denotes the input signal, and C2 is the coupling capacitor across the output, and V0 denotes the output voltage. Okay, fine. So that's how this is VGG, okay, the supply at the gate. Okay. Now for DC analysis, we are supposed to consider two important steps or points. Okay. For DC analysis, the first point is that C1 and C2, which are the coupling capacitors, C1 and C2 capacitors behave as open circuits. Okay. Why is that? Because we are dealing with a DC analysis. A DC signal's frequency is always 0. Okay. The frequency of a DC signal is always 0 because the voltage is fixed always with respect to the time. Okay. So the reason is that the capacitive reactance associated is expressed as 1 upon 2 pi Fc, and we know that F is 0 for DC signal. Okay. So then it will be 1 upon 0, which is infinite. That means the capacitive reactance is infinite. Okay. The capacitive reactance is infinite. Okay. So that means C1 and C2 behave as if they are open circuits. So when they behave as if they are open circuits, then you can just ignore the input signal and the output signal V0. Then ignore Vi and V0 for DC analysis. Okay. So this is the most important step, okay, or the assumptions that we are supposed to make for DC analysis of all the configurations. Okay. So once we do this, then the simplified circuit is as drawn. Okay. Sorry about that line, it was unintentional due to that pointer it came. Okay, fine. So how does the simplified network look like? It looks like this. So we just have a resistor which is expressed as RD, okay, and that is VDD. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just move to the next slide. Okay. right. So the simplified circuit. RD, VDD is the supply voltage, okay, and by the way, this is actually the DC supply, okay, which we are giving. All right. So N channel, gate, drain, and the source. Source is grounded, and at the gate, resistor RG, and then we have a gate supply which is called as VGG. Okay. Whenever I say simplified, C1 and C2 are ignored, okay, and so are Vi and V0 also, okay, they are also ignored, right, okay, because of the reason that I just stated before. All right, so that's the simplified circuit which we have got. Why do we call it as a fixed bias? The reason will be clear in a moment, okay, in a minute or so. So I'll be writing it as fixed bias configuration. Fixed bias configuration. And why do we call it as a fixed bias? The reason will be clear shortly. Okay, fine. See, now we have got a simplified circuit to which the entire circuit is being biased due to the DC supply which is being applied at the drain end. Okay. Well, we have got two paths now. One is the input path, okay, which is like this, right, and the second one is the output path in this way. So we'll have to apply KVL for both input as well as output path. Let us first try to analyze the input portion. Okay, what actually happens? So the voltage across gate to source is VGS. Fine. Now applying, okay, before that let us try to understand that since JFET is a voltage controlled device, what will be the current IG, gate current? Normally, see, JFET is a voltage controlled device. The voltage controlling parameter is the gate voltage VGS. What should be the gate current? The gate current has to be almost equal to 0. Ideally it should be 0, but practically it is almost equal to 0, because if there was significant gate current flowing, then the device would have got damaged. Okay, it would not have been called as a voltage control device. So for that reason, IG will always be equal to 0. So if IG equal to 0, then on observing the circuit, what should be the voltage across the gate resistor RG? See, the voltage can be given as the gate current multiplied by the gate resistance. Now since IG is 0, okay, then obviously VRG will be equal to 0. What does that mean? The voltage across the gate resistor is 0. So voltage across the gate resistor is 0 indicates that there is absolutely no drop across RG. That means that replace RG by short circuit. Okay, because there is absolutely no drop, because IG is 0. Okay, so replace RG by a short circuit. Now what I will try to do is I will just replace it by a short circuit. Okay, so let me select a different colored pen so that it will be easy for me to just. So I have just replaced the resistor by a short circuit. Okay, fine. Okay, so further, now if I apply KVL, what do I get? Applying KVL, okay, I will be getting, See, this is plus minus. Okay, so it's like minus VGG plus minus VGS is equal to 0. That means VGS is equal to minus of VGG. Okay, so it's a very simple expression which has a lot of meaning. Okay, what does this mean? It means that the voltage appearing across gate to source terminals is always fixed. Okay, and it is always fixed by the voltage that we are supplying, and the voltage that we are supplying is VGG. Okay, so please understand, the voltage that appears across gate to source is the negative voltage of the VGG value. Now this VGG is a constant. Okay, so the other word is fixed, right? So due to this fixed word, we are using the same term and then calling it as fixed bias configuration. Okay, that means a fixed voltage is determining the biasing condition of this overall configuration, right? Okay, so let us call it as equation 1. Now we know the Shockley's expression, right? Okay, so the Shockley's equation for JFET is given as ID is equal to IDSS, which is the drain to source saturation current, multiplied by 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. Okay, so what does that mean? What is the relation between ID and VGS here? Let me just call it as 2. Okay, so let me just give something informative with respect to this equation. Okay, let me just go back a minute. All right. Okay, so one important point here is that with respect to a BJT and a JFET, okay, the main expression output current, which is IC, okay, IC stands for the collector current, IC is equal to beta into IB. Okay, we are all very well aware of this particular expression. Now beta is a constant. Beta is constant. That means IC varies linearly with respect to IB, right? IC varies linearly with respect to IB. So there is a linear relationship existing with respect to a BJT. However, with respect to a JFET, the drain current is given as IDSS 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square, right? So here the controlling parameter or the input parameter is VGS. The controlled parameter or the output term is ID. Okay. Now the relation between ID and VGS is not linear because of the square term involved. Okay. So here the relationship is non-linear. Okay. So you will have to remember this particular expression for the non-linearity. See, if it was a linear curve, then okay, then even though the graph, okay, there used to be a linear characteristics of this type. Okay, if the JFET was supposed to behave as a linear device. However, unfortunately it's a non-linear device, so linearity does not exist in the case of a JFET. Okay. Now moving forward, let's just come back to our Shockley's expression. So there is a non-linearity existing. Now what can be done? For finding the solution, we can substitute equation 1 in equation 2. Alright, so wherever VGS is there, instead of VGS we can substitute minus VGG term, so that drain current can be obtained. Okay, so this is for a particular device. Now there is something which is very, very important to be understood. that is, see, this particular expression is for the device, okay, it only applies for a JFET. What about this particular expression, equation 1? This applies for the network, right? See, because we are making use of we considered the effect of RG also, okay, only because it behaved as if it is a short circuit, we are not including it here. However, we considered everything with respect to input, with respect to the input loop here, okay, starting from the gate, right? So this is for the network, right? Now what information do we get from the network expression and from the device expression? Let's try to observe it. With respect to BJT, we have already studied it, but it will be nice for us to understand it with respect to a JFET. Okay, fine. So ID is the drain current, and yeah, so IDS versus this is VGS for a N channel JFET, it will be negative. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just draw a replica of it. Okay, right. Yes, so that is IDS, and this will be VGS, right? And we have already seen how the transfer characteristics looks like for a JFET, okay, with VP being the pinch off, and this point is IDSS, okay, drain to source maximum saturation current. Okay, so that is the characteristic. See, this curve represents device equation 2, right? However, what about this expression? Okay, this is for the overall network, right? The network which consists of the supply VGG as well as the resistance RG. So VGS equal to minus of VGG. Let us assume that VGG is somewhere here. Okay, so VGS is minus VGG, right? Minus VGG. So this is for negative variation, this is for positive variation. Okay, so this is plus VGS and that is minus VGS. So according to that, depending upon the VGG value, we have got a point. Now this is a fixed value. Okay, it doesn't change with respect to IDS, even though IDS, this is always fixed. Okay, so this is for the network. Now what do we get here? Okay, the point of intersection gives us the Q point or the operating point of this particular biasing configuration. Okay, so please understand, in this particular configuration, the position of Q point depends only and only on the value of VGG. Okay, it doesn't depend on any other parameter, it purely depends on VGG, and VGG is a fixed value. Okay, so because of which this particular configuration is called as fixed bias configuration. Okay, so I hope the things are clear to you now, right? What did we do from the start? I'll just go back and then try to summarize the things. Okay, we started off with the first biasing configuration, which is the fixed bias configuration. For DC analysis, we usually assume that the coupling capacitors behave as open circuits, so that we can ignore the effect of input as well as output, and then the circuit gets simplified. Okay, so that was the simplified circuit which had the resistance RG here. Okay, and then when we solved it by applying KVL for the input loop, we got this particular expression, VGS equal to minus VGG. So that when we plotted it, the the device characteristics with that of the network solution, the point of intersection gives us the Q point. Okay. By the way, what information will the Q point give you? What is the significance of the Q point? Mainly it denotes the stability of the particular network. Okay. Mainly it gives us the information about the stability of the overall network. Okay. Are we done with the circuit? No, we have only analyzed the input portion. Okay. We are yet to analyze the output loop here. Okay. I am just indicating it. Okay. By the way, is there any loop here? Yes, there is a loop. Why? Because see, to this point we are applying a positive voltage. Okay. Then where is the negative voltage? The negative voltage is understood. This negative voltage is being grounded like this. Okay, it is understood. So there is always a loop present here. Now let me just draw that particular thing. Okay, I will be drawing only the output portion. Output portion of fixed bias. Okay, so what do we get? We have the resistance RD, VDD. Okay, so that's the gate, drain, source, and we are grounding it. Okay. By the way, it's a loop, so I'll have to apply KVL like this. Okay. So if I apply KVL, applying KVL to the output loop, what do we get? So it is plus VDD minus plus minus plus minus, this is VDS. Okay, the voltage between drain and the source terminals. So this is VDD minus ID into RD. So ID is the current which is flowing, okay, from the drain to the source. So ID into RD minus VDS will be equal to 0. So we are interested in VDS, okay, because we already know the value of VD and we have found out the value of ID, okay, from the input loop, right. So both the values we know. The only parameter which needs to be found out from the output loop is VDS. So VDS is VDD minus ID into RD. So that's the last expression which is supposed to be obtained. So let me just call it as equation 3. Okay. So that was equation 1, equation 2, and finally equation 3. Okay. So we are done with the fixed bias configuration, right. So very quickly let us just go through some of the points regarding FET biasing. These are already explained, but let us just revise them. The general relationships that can be applied to the DC analysis of all FET amplifiers are gate current is almost equal to 0. Okay, we have already seen at it. So when gate current equal to 0, then obviously drain current should be equal to the source current. Okay. Now for JFETs, all type of JFETs, N channel as well as P channel. Okay. So for all JFETs and depletion type MOSFETs, please try to correlate the construction. Okay. JFETs, depletion type MOSFETs and MESFETs. Okay. MESFET stands for metal semiconductor field effect transistors. We haven't yet gone through this particular device. We will be trying to understand this particular device at a later point of time. Okay. But as of now, just remember that there is something of the term called as MESFET. So for all these three devices, Shockley's equation can be applied. Okay. That relates the input as well as output quantities. Okay. And this is the Shockley's expression. However, for enhancement type MOSFET, this particular expression only holds good. Okay. Right. For enhancement type MOSFETs, this particular expression holds good. Right now we are dealing only with respect to the Shockley's expression. Okay, all right. So that was the fixed bias configuration that we just discussed. Okay, so just look at it. This is the complete circuit which has C1, C2 as the coupling capacitor, Vi is the input, V0 is the output, VDD is the bias voltage. Okay, fine. And VGG is the supply nearer to the gate. Okay, so these are the expressions that we already looked at. And that's the simplified structure. Okay, when the effect of C1 and C2 are removed. Okay, and once we apply KVL, we will be obtaining this particular expression. So that finally, the solution for the fixed bias configuration can be obtained. Okay, what does solution mean here? Solution means finding out the Q point is nothing but the solution. Okay, so the blue color indicates the device characteristics, the black colored line indicates the network solution. Okay, that's the network behavior. So when both of them meet at a particular point, you will be getting the Q point. Okay, now if I just extend the the Q point position onto the drain current characteristics, I will be getting the drain current at this particular quiescent point. Okay, so this gives us a lot of information, especially when we are designing a particular amplifier. Okay, all right. So finally, that's the output expression. Applying KVL for the output expression, we will be getting this particular. Okay, all right. So that was the first biasing configuration, especially using DC analysis. Okay, all right. So if there are any doubts, then I will clarify. Students, if there are any doubts, then you can ask me.